Thanks for stopping by. I'd like to preface this video by saying it is not a knitting tutorial, but it means to have something playing in the background while you work on your own knitting project. If you're like me and really enjoy watching videos while you work, sometimes you find that the content you watch is very visually engaging and you're several hours in and you've only watched videos and haven't gotten nearly as far along in your project as you would have liked to. So that's where I come in. And if you're new here, welcome. And if you're returning, welcome back. It's been a while, hasn't it? Today's project we're working on is the continuation of the Jolie Mimi Cardigan that I was working on previously, and we're just going to keep rolling with this one. I purposely made sure that I wasn't going to start anything new, even though I am chomping at the bit to start a new project, but I was like, nope, I need to make some progress in the ones that I already have that have been going on and on and on and on. And some of them are better suited for camera knitting than others because it's tricky for me to talk and knit, like walking and chewing gum or something like that. Like I can do that just fine, but when it comes to knitting, if the pattern is a little bit too complex, then you know, things can get a little messy, which is why it's like, this isn't a tutorial at all. But if you haven't watched this series before, it's not really a series, but the part 1, part 2 of this guy, this is just a moss stitch or a seed stitch or seedling stitch, I think I've seen it called as well, where it's just knitting and purling and alternating those as you go. So you're knitting your purls and you're purling your knits so that you don't have a stockinette, but you have this like nice little, I call them X's. It kind of looks like X's on the pattern to me. But this is a very loose knit because I'm using I think this is a size 11, yeah, 11 US or 8 millimeter size needle with just your standard worsted weight, and this is a cotton yarn, 100% cotton. And so I have like a very open pattern here, and I mentioned in my last video that some of the images online of this pattern, which is linked below if you would like to get your hands on it, the stitch is very tight, but originally when I purchased this, the advertised pattern on display, at least the sample knit, looks very loose like it is right now. So I was kind of confused by that. So yes, it is Saturday night over here, probably around 9 o'clock in the evening where I am. I didn't do much today. I started reading my book from my book club, which is tomorrow, and did some laundry. Some is actually in the dryer right now, so I had to take that out soon because I didn't dry it all the way. And I took a nap. I took a really long nap, so that was nice. My work is closed for some seasonal stuff right now, so I have the weekend where I don't have to worry about anyone calling me to ask me any questions, so it's just been nice to know that it's going to be a little quiet in the next few days here. So that's kind of rewarding in on itself, I think is the term. In of itself, yes. It's rewarding in of itself. But I'm curious, what are you guys up to this weekend? I know it'll be Sunday when you see this most likely, or even maybe the next day depending on where you are in the world. But how was your weekend? I hope it was pleasant. To recap, I was out Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of last week at my job because I had some stuff to do, and instead of just one presentation, I found out I had to do another one at a different location, different topic altogether. So that was interesting. I wasn't expecting that at all. Oh wait, no, this is it. This isn't it. Yes, there we go. And you know, I had to travel about 3.5 hours to get to that location via public transit, and then in turn travel another 3.5 to get back home. So that was a long day. So instead of coming back on Tuesday as I thought, or no, I was going to take Tuesday off from the Monday thing, and then I was going to go back Wednesday, but instead I added another day, so I took Wednesday off to recuperate from Tuesday's crazy stuff, and then went back on Thursday. So I had 2 days of work, and they were whirlwind work days, and now I'm on the weekend again. And I'm taking Monday off because it's slow, and I'm hoping that means nobody's going to bother me and I can actually enjoy some time, because I have a lot of vacation to use. I have like 18 days that I need to use, and it's getting to the part of the year where if I don't use them, I lose them, and they reset. And it's like, that's free money basically. Like, they're not going to let me cash it out, so I have to use them. But I'm trying to figure out, like, when can I do it? Because, you know, sometimes things come up and you have to travel, and you want to save enough days that you would need in case of an emergency. But honestly, my life isn't that exciting. So I end up just having all these days, and then I have to scramble to use them. And then the time I would want to use them is like a blackout kind of time where it's super busy and I can't really take any time off because I'm needed there to support my staff. So it's kind of annoying. But I'm sure I'm not the only one who has that problem, where you want to take vacation, and then when you do, it's almost like you need another vacation because you're busy catching up on stuff. So it's kind of my dilemma with my current employer. Very demanding in that aspect, but I'm glad I'm here with you guys. It's been a long time where I haven't been consistent, and I really wanted to, but it's just been so busy at work that it's hard to get back into the groove of knitting sometimes, and to set aside time for you guys when I'm busy, like catching up on a lot of errands and things that I have to do around the house. So it's kind of like annoying in that aspect, but I do miss you guys, and I've been trying to look at my videos to see comments and stuff and reply to them as soon as I can. But I know it's been like a couple days between each response, so I do apologize if you've been communicating with me. But yeah, it's crazy. But I do like this. This is like very fun. And my room has been converted into more of like a workout room. My partner has been adding more and more workout equipment, so it is like hard to set the room up again to film and then take it back down so they can use the space when I'm not filming, with my light and tripod, and, you know, making sure my camera doesn't get bumped or anything, and all of that stuff that comes with having to make do with what you have. And on top of that, we'll probably be moving. Well, there's a potential that we'll be moving out of this apartment or townhouse sooner than I thought, only because of how things are going at work, and the fact that I will probably be not there forever, very likely not there forever, and want to kind of think of our living arrangements when the time comes for me to not be so close to my current place of employment. So it's going to be tricky, but I'm kind of looking around now to see what's nearby, so that, you know, while I'm still here until things change, I'm still close enough to work since I don't have a car, but my partner's also close to their job, so they can get to work without having a very long commute, since they would prefer not to have a very long commute. And I would like to not have to spend 3.5 hours getting to work via transfers and public transit and all that good stuff that comes with sharing the transit system with everybody. So it is a little up in the air, because it was such a hassle to get out of my previous lease when we moved closer to where I work now, because it was like 2.5 hours to and from work, and I had to be here at 8 o'clock in the morning, so I had to actually leave my home around 5 just to catch a bus, to catch another bus, to catch the train, and ride that for a good hour to where my work is. So it was very, very inconvenient for me. So I was very fortunate to be able to move closer to my job, but at the same time I had just signed my lease over, and the management company was not understanding of that and made it really hard. But thankfully, the leasing agent we got the apartment through helped us out by listing the apartment again, and we were able to find a tenant, I think about, let's see, we moved out in August, October, so about 2 months where we had to still pay double rent, like rent at our old place and rent here, before another tenant was in, because they were like, nope, we're not gonna help you. But the leasing agent's like, yes, I can help you guys out. And we were really, really fortunate, because it was hard to try to figure out how to find a new person while I was busy learning my new job and living so far away. Because it was a good like hour and a half just to drive to our different apartments. So whew, I'm glad that's over. But now, because I'm almost up to my lease, I'm hoping to make an arrangement where we could do like a month to month until we find out if we're going to stay or not, because no matter what, we're definitely not going to live here forever, because I am actively trying to find a new place to work, and my employer is aware of that. So if they do ever see this video, they already know. I was very clear with them when I was hired that it was not going to be a forever thing, and they understood that too, because it isn't a job where you can work in it forever. And so I gave my supervisor a heads up in the summertime, like, yo, it's time for me to start moving on, and I'm gonna open up my job search. And they were like, okay, I remember you said that, that's okay, that's fine. So that is what happened. And now that it's getting to the end of my lease, I'm like even more so like actively trying to figure out where I will be so that I can have a clean break, find a new place, move in, easy peasy, and call it good by the time I end my employment here. But you know, it all just depends on who wants me to shower their place of work with awesomeness if they think I'm a right fit for them. But I have been pretty liberal with where I've been looking as far as what my skill sets are and what my preferences are as far as benefits and pay and all that good stuff. Kind of see where it goes. But my field is kind of a slow going process, so there's stuff that I applied to back in December that I'm just hearing back from now, and there's some stuff I applied to in February that I put in my application like in January, and it closed February, so I still have, you know, maybe a good month, maybe 2 to 3 weeks until I would even hear anything from them. So it's all around. But my question, well, I'll turn it over to you guys. If you feel like answering, please do. I'm curious. Do you like, I know Jenny, you mentioned you're retired. So if you are watching this one, I'm still so jealous. I know it's for some certain reasons, but man, it would be nice to just kind of live my life How I want, I thought at first, like, oh, if I get good at knitting, maybe I could just knit for a living, but I take forever to knit, so that's not gonna happen. That is not gonna be in the cards for me at this point. But if you are still working, let me know if you like to find new jobs. Do you grow where you're planted? Are you settled at this point and you're just waiting until you can retire? Or do you like to change things up? Are you a part-timer, full-timer, seasonal? Do you work for yourself? Like, tell me, like, what is your, you don't have to tell me where you work or what you do, but what's your work style? How do you see yourself as an employee? I'd be curious to know. I personally, I am a younger person in the worker bee world, so I still have a long ways to go before I'm even eligible to retire. But as far as where I go, I usually stay at a job anywhere from 2 to 5 years, and that, I would say 4.5, but it was very close to 5 by the time I left the place I was at before I started working where I am now. Checking the length of this one, and it was a great job. It wasn't where I want to have, like, I'm thinking of like my final resting place as if I'm dying or something, but where I want to be when it's time for me to, like, just hang my hat up and say, this is where I'm going to be till it's time to go. And that wasn't it. That just wasn't it for me. So I stayed there long enough to get my master's, and when I found a job in the field that I wanted to be in, I was able to start pretty much as soon as I graduated from grad school, and I'm very happy about that. I've been very lucky, very, very lucky that every job I've had, I've left and started on my own terms. I wasn't ever fired. I wasn't ever laid off. I was never between jobs where I had a period of unemployment. I've been able to just go from job to job as needed, and I know it's not like that for everybody, so I'm very, very lucky that it has been that way for me, where I could stay one place forever if I wanted to, but I haven't wanted to, so I've moved on when I felt like something lined up and was able to give me more responsibility, more pay, and more skills. But at this point, the job I have now, since it is my job that I started in my field after graduate school, it's not my forever job. So it's time. I've been here about close to 3 years at this point, and it is that time for me to find another one to move up to, and it still won't be my retirement job, but I honestly, it's hard for me to envision myself working one place for 20-25 years at that point, when that would be early retirement for me if it was like 25 years. So if I'm thinking 30 years, my parents retired when they were in their 50s, so I want to do that. But they also had more financial means than I did, because they didn't go to college, so they didn't have student loans to pay off. So they already had like disposable income on the ready when they started out in their respective careers. But I have crazy college debt, and I'm hoping that with the more and more I work, the more and more I can pay on my loans and afford a place to live and pay my bills and enjoy fun things like yarn without having to worry about where to sacrifice. So I'm looking closer to another 30. I'm looking closer to like another 30, oh my god, no, yeah, about 30 years or so until I am ready to hang up my hat for good and enjoy the simple pleasures of like going to Target at 8 a.m. on a weekday because I have nowhere else to be. Like, did I tell you guys that? I went to Target. Yes, I think I did because I had to buy some juice for the meeting and pick up the Panera catering and all that stuff. But 8 a.m. Target on a Sunday is like chef's kiss. Like, I am a night owl through and through. Like, my whole life I've always been the one to stay up crazy hours. So to be up with the sun, like with the daywalkers, is like craziness to me. But it was so nice because there was nobody in there. There was like a couple people, but any parking spot I wanted was there. I could grab a cart. I could get through my lanes without any screaming babies, without any like crazy people, without any attitudes, like any like bumper carts. It was like bumper carts. It was phenomenal. And I'm like, wow, if I could do that like any day, like especially a weekday when you really know nobody is around because everybody else is at work, like, oh, I cannot wait. I can't wait. Like, I'm going to be like living my best life when I am of the time when I can just do what I want to do. But as I live in a world where you have to put your nose to the grindstone till you really don't have the energy to do much else, it's kind of sad. But I still try my best to live my best life when I can. So that's where this comes in. And all of the other things that I buy that I don't need are like my little pleasures in life to make it through the daily grind of being a worker bee. So yeah, that's where we are. I have my book club tomorrow, so I'm hoping my partner will be around to give me a ride to the train station because it's a long walk. It's like I don't walk that fast, so it's like at least 20 minutes for me to walk to the train, and it's not like an easy route. There's a lot of just hills and windy roads and stuff, and it's just not a fun walk. It's pretty, but it's not fun. So by the time I get to the train station, I'm all hot and gross, and I don't like it. So it was easier to walk around when I lived in the city instead of the suburbs. So I was like, go to the train, no problem. Like, easy walk. But here in the burbs, it's not. It's like a whole adventure just to get to the train, and then I have to ride the train for a long time, and then I have to get off the train and take another train to get to where the book club is. So it's literally like a whole day. Like, I have to be there at 2 o'clock. I need to leave. If I'm walking, I need to leave at like 11 because I have to catch a train that leaves around 12, and it takes me that long to get to the book club. And then when I'm done with the book club, I have to wait almost an hour after until the next train that takes me back home. So that's just the worst. But it could be worse. Thankfully it's not going to be snowing and gross tomorrow, so I'm happy about that. But on those days when it's way too cold, way too snowy, rainy, windy, it's just yucky out, and I don't like it at all. Whew, alright, so you can see we still haven't made that much progress, but it's progress nonetheless. And I'm trying to think. I think if I'm feeling it, I might do another video on Monday just to make up for all the lost time since I didn't last weekend because I was working on my presentations that I had to do for the Monday and the Tuesday of this week. Or last week, depending on where you're watching this video. So yeah, I was like, no, I just need to concentrate on this. I cannot take a break to talk to you guys. But I think they went well. But you'll know for sure later on, I think, if I hear anything as far as feedback goes. But after I was done, everybody clapped. everyone's like, yay, thank you for that. That was awesome. So I felt pretty good about it, and it was the first time besides just talking to like my own coworkers or my team that I actually had to give like a real deal presentation versus just a meeting type of thing. So that was new. But I think I have that. I'm an introvert through and through, but I can turn it on when I need to talk to people. So it's just like I need to rest after, which is why I took that extra day just to like, like I would have filmed with you guys, but I was like, nah, like I'm done talking. I'm just too much talking for me. So yeah, that's that. But thank you. Thank you so much for tuning in once again. I'm so happy that you guys are here and you're knitting with me and you're telling me about the cool stuff you're working on, as I'm really tempted to go to this yarn shop that's like maybe a half mile up the road from where my book club is, like before I go, but I really shouldn't buy any more yarn. So no, I'm not going to. Even though everything in there is super pretty, I'm not going to go in. So with that, thank you so much for stopping by, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.